When the video first appeared online, no one quite knew what to make of it. A dimly lit room, a red leather couch, and a familiar face dressed in a pristine white Balenciaga racing suit. Jungkook of BTS, sitting calmly, as if waiting for something monumental to unfold. Within minutes, the clip began spreading like wildfire across social media platforms, setting off a wave of fascination and speculation that only Jungkook could inspire. The scene was simple but powerful. Jungkook sat with his arms stretched across the sofa, the glow of a vintage lamp casting soft shadows across his face. The walls behind him were aged, almost nostalgic, evoking a sense of timeless melancholy. And yet, the entire frame looked artfully deliberate, as if every detail, from the wrinkled wallpaper to the glint in his eyes, was part of a grander visual narrative. Fans were instantly captivated. "He looks like he's from another world," one comment read, a sentiment that quickly became the headline echoing across online communities. Balenciaga, known for its avant-garde aesthetic and bold collaborations, had remained silent about the project, fueling even more intrigue. Speculation swirled. Was this a new global campaign? A short film? A music video teaser? Or perhaps a secret fashion art collaboration blending Jungkook's otherworldly presence with Balenciaga's futuristic tone? Within hours, the video reached millions of views. Fan accounts across X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram flooded with slowed edits, color analyses, and frame-by-frame dissections. Some noted the subtle branding patches on Jungkook's outfit, symbols of MasterCard, Balenciaga Paris, and fictional sponsor logos, interpreting them as metaphors for the collision between art, commerce, and identity. Others pointed to the smoke-filled glass chamber scene that followed, comparing it to themes of transformation and rebirth often seen in Jungkook's artistic visuals. What stood out most was the tone. Jungkook wasn't performing in the traditional sense. He wasn't dancing, singing, or even moving much. He was simply being. Yet that stillness carried an intensity that drew viewers in. "It's the power of presence," wrote one fashion critic on Vogue Korea's digital feature. "Only someone like Jungkook could make sitting on a couch look cinematic." Industry insiders speculated that this could mark a new era in Balenciaga's branding strategy, blending pop stardom with surreal minimalism. Unlike typical celebrity endorsements, this visual didn't sell a product directly, it sold a feeling. The dim lighting, vintage decor, and confined setting suggested introspection rather than luxury. It was as though Balenciaga was saying, "This is not about fashion. It's about identity, solitude, and the performance of existence itself." Meanwhile, fans connected the imagery with Jungkook's previous solo works. Many referenced his Seven and Standing Next to You eras, noting how the evolution from sensual freedom to existential quietude reflected his growth as an artist. "This isn't Jungkook the performer," wrote one viral post. "This is Jungkook the symbol, someone who transcends the idol archetype." The phrase "he looks like he's from another world" trended globally on X, accompanied by GIFs and short clips of the Balenciaga video. Within 24 hours, the hashtag Jungkook Balenciaga surpassed 10 million mentions. Even non-fans began engaging with the phenomenon, intrigued by the hauntingly cinematic tone. Fashion journalists compared it to Ridley Scott's sci-fi aesthetics and Stanley Kubrick's visual symmetry, calling it a surreal merge between fashion and fine art. As more people replayed the clip, new details emerged. The reflection in the window behind Jungkook seemed to shift subtly, as if time itself were bending. When he finally stood and walked toward the glass chamber, a futuristic pod filled with smoke, viewers held their breath. The moment he entered the chamber, the lighting changed. The room dimmed, the hum of unseen machinery filled the air, and Jungkook's expression turned serene, almost spiritual. Some interpreted the act as a metaphor for self-isolation, others as a rebirth, an artist sealing himself away from the world to emerge anew. Social media analysts noted the unprecedented virality of the clip. "This isn't just trending, it's cultural resonance," said one marketing expert from Seoul's Yonsei University. Jungkook's ability to generate narrative meaning through minimal action is rare. He represents the fusion of modern celebrity and postmodern art. For many fans, the most emotional part wasn't the high-concept symbolism, but the simplicity of Jungkook's presence. His calm demeanor, natural voice, and soft gestures evoked a sense of comfort. "It feels like he's speaking directly to us," one fan commented under the YouTube upload. "Even though he barely says anything, his eyes tell the whole story." By the second day, Balenciaga's official channels still hadn't released any statement, which only deepened the mystery. Some fans theorized that this was part of a long-term art campaign set to unfold gradually. Others believed it to be a hidden prelude to Jungkook's next solo project. A few went further, analyzing the set design for hidden clues. Numbers on the wall, the pattern of the lamp, and even the wrinkles on the couch. Believing that nothing in Jungkook's visuals ever happens by accident, media outlets worldwide began reporting on the phenomenon. The Guardian described it as a hypnotic collision of pop culture and existential fashion. Vogue Italia praised Jungkook for bringing authenticity into an industry obsessed with spectacle. Rolling Stone wrote that Jungkook doesn't just wear Balenciaga, he embodies the brand's philosophy, rebellion through restraint. But what truly elevated the story beyond fashion was the emotional response. Across continents, fans spoke about how the video made them feel seen. It wasn't about luxury or status. It was about introspection and the quiet space between chaos. Jungkook's tranquil presence on that worn-out couch became a symbol of stillness in a noisy world. Psychologists and pop culture analysts chimed in, linking the reaction to Jungkook's unique parasocial bond with his audience. "Fans feel they grow with him," explained Dr. Min Jae Kim, a cultural studies researcher. "So when he appears contemplative or vulnerable, they perceive it as a shared emotional journey rather than a performance." That's what differentiates Jungkook from many global artists, his ability to translate silence into connection. Fashion forums lit up with debates about the meaning behind his Balenciaga outfit. Some saw it as a commentary on the commercialization of fame, the logos representing how modern identity is often layered with branding. Others saw the outfit as armor, protecting him from the intrusive gaze of fame while allowing glimpses of humanity to shine through. Interestingly, the Balenciaga racing suit bore a small circular logo with an abstract design that many fans hadn't seen before. Soon, theories emerged that it represented the intersection of time and identity, a recurring motif in Jungkook's artistry. Some even connected it to his tattoos, noticing parallels in symmetry and hidden meaning. Days turned into a week, and yet the conversation refused to fade. Art students began creating reinterpretations of the Balenciaga room, turning it into installations and digital fan art. Hashtags like #Balenciaga room and #Jungkook vision spread on Instagram, showing how deeply the visual had seeped into pop culture consciousness. The most shared fan artwork depicted Jungkook stepping out of the smoky chamber, bathed in light, with the caption, "He found himself on the other side." Meanwhile, fashion critics began questioning whether Balenciaga was redefining the very idea of endorsement. "This isn't marketing," said Marie Dupont, editor of Le Mode Moderne. "This is narrative minimalism at its finest. It's not about telling you to buy, it's about inviting you to think." As the days went on, Jungkook remained characteristically quiet. No interviews, no explanations. His silence became part of the art. The more he didn't speak, the more people speculated, and the more powerful the imagery became. Fans described feeling haunted, inspired, even healed. "There's something spiritual in his stillness," wrote one viral post. "Like he's showing us it's okay to pause, to breathe, to just exist." By the time Balenciaga finally updated their website with a minimalist image of Jungkook inside the glass chamber, captioned simply, "Beyond the surface," the campaign had already become legendary. Fashion houses rarely achieve emotional virality. Jungkook had done it effortlessly. The collaboration blurred boundaries between music, fashion, and philosophy. It wasn't a campaign you could measure in clicks or sales. It was a cultural moment that lived inside people's minds.